feel like dropping some lore today because I just talked about my econ degree, my whole career path. Math was like my core subject I was really good at. The second one was English. I was a very good writer and I was really good at reading. Comprehension was really easy. It was really weird because I was the type of person who found most academic pursuits very effortless. This sounds like a massive like flex, like whatever. I'm not like this anymore. I can feel my brain actively deteriorating as I have, now concluded my educational journey in full. But when I was a kid, I was weirdly so good at academics. I don't know where it came from because I very early on, I think, developed the ability to work smarter, not harder. I was never the person who would spend 4 hours after school studying. A test was coming up, I would sit down and study for about 10 hours. I wouldn't really study for exams almost ever. I just learned that like if I were to pay attention in class and then do my worksheets and then do my homework, I wouldn't really have to study hard for exams and I would do well because I learned what I had to learn. I did everything that was required to prove that I've actually retained the information. This is like high school. I'm not talking about college. College, I was all right. All of our scores and grades in college were curved against our peers. That kind of killed my motivation pretty early on. My grades weren't bad. I graduated with like a 3.6, which considering every single class I took in university was fucking curved against my peers. And like I had smart peers. Like this is, not easy stuff. I would film TikToks while I would have lectures going, mic off, camera off, and then would watch the recording after in 2x. I kind of basically stopped taking my own advice, and so then I was a lot less of an academic weapon, if you will. But in high school, I basically had a 4.0, I had a 3.95 or something. When it came to English and writing, I remember one turning point for me was I don't even know what grade this was. This must have been like early high school. We had this like beginning of the school year little worksheet we had to have our parents fill out for the teacher to give them feedback on what they think their kids should improve on for their English or writing. But I did it with my dad and he wrote, "You struggle to articulate yourself sometimes." And I said, "What does that mean?" Because I was pretty young, I didn't know the word. And he was like, "Oh, that means you have trouble putting your thoughts into words sometimes. I can tell you can think of things and understand things, but you sometimes struggle to explain what you're thinking or explain what you understood." Through understanding what articulate means, I now knew how to articulate the fact that I struggled to articulate myself. And so now that I knew I specifically had this point of weakness that I can improve on, I really focused on trying to figure out how I can make it so when I have thoughts, I put them into words almost automatically or very easily or very effectively. And a part of that was while reading to really focus on learning new vocabulary. Like when we'd have books to read at school, first of all, I would read the books, but second of all, I would try to, learn new vocabulary from them. Also would pay attention to how sentence structure and stylistic elements of all these different books we read varied and how they affected my experience while reading. But I think learning how to articulate myself was something that I could only really do after I learned how to explain the fact that I struggled to do that. But yeah, that's my academic weapon lore from basically childhood. But that said, people would always say I was book smart and not street smart. So can't win them all.